Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
When you have a mortgage, is it tied? Are you tied to the mortgage as well, or is it just the property? Can you walk away and say,
No,
"There's the keys"?
it's your personal guarantee.
Yeah.
You're tied to it.
You're tied to the house.
Yeah,
You're
but
tied
it's
to-
secured by the property.
Yeah.
So you
But-
can't just
but
say,
your credit-
you can't just say my loan's 100,000, my house is worth 50. There's the keys.
Well, you can, but it's still going to be
And
a
but
foreclosure.
they're going to chase you.
They will chase you.
Yeah,
For
if
the
there's
50?
if there's a default, if there is a deficiency, they're going to come after you with a
Okay.
deficiency
And that's
judgment.
eventually
Now,
what
there was laws that were passed back in the collapse to protect people from deficiency judgments.
When was this back in?
2008, 2009, 10.
That was when. Yeah, that was
So
when
after
it was
the
to protect
juice.
it.
What's that?
After the global financial crisis,
Yeah.
after all this mess.
Yeah.
And there
But
was
before that, could you walk away?
no.
No, absolutely
they
not.
There was
They
a
were-
famous case of a black lady in Mississippi who had a $3,100 a month payment. She was on welfare, and she had when you're on welfare, for every kid that you take in, you get $750 extra or some shit.
Yeah.
So she had like 12 welfare kids, but she had never worked. This was just not one house. She had a portfolio of houses, and I tease our youngest son, who sold those mortgages, subprime things back
in
then
the day?
between undergraduate and graduate school.
Oh, fuck.
You probably sold the poor woman. No, Dad, it wasn't me. Dad, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. But yeah, and Bear Stearns had a slew of them.
They basically almost. I think it was almost 70% of all of their generating revenue came from that. And so when adjustable rates kick in, and a whole fuck ton of Americans start to default because there's no way in hell they can afford to pay it. That's when everyone starts to default, banks lose money, everyone who's putting in CDOs lose money. And then on top of that, there's this thing called synthetic CDOs, where people were putting money to bet on those CDOs succeeding. And then people would bet on those people who bet on those CDOs. And that was what made... Right, and that's basically just a betting game. It was just a huge, stupid gambling
It was
game.
insurance. There was actually insurance.
Bear Stearns was a bank? Was it a
No,
bank? Or was that managed mortgages? What is it?
It's the one I used to be with. It's an investment bank.
Investment bank.
They were called the hard luck guys. They didn't go to Ivy League schools. Goldman Sachs wouldn't hire them. But Ace Greenberg and Cy Lewis, who were two of the founders, ran the business. And I didn't know Cy Lewis, but I certainly did know Ace Greenberg. And but it was an easy. Just as KKR came out of Bear Stearns, and when KKR guys, partners, a few years older than I was, went to the management team, the board, we got this idea about private equity. And they said, no, nobody's going to give you 2 points off the top and 20% of the profit. We don't want it. So KKR guys, as the legend has it, left Bear Stearns and started KKR, and which obviously is a massive success, and they really were one of at the forefront of private equity. But so Bear Stearns wasn't going to miss this opportunity.
Oh, no.
I'm just thinking for them, putting words in their mouth. We missed private equity. Well, we're not going to miss this one.
Right.
And so they jumped on this with both feet and hands, and they got buried for it.
Yeah, so this was their get rich quick scheme, and it worked for a certain period of time. But it fucked them over at the end, and it fucked a lot of Americans over. So basically, the deal was structured such that, at that point, everyone in Bear, like all of their shareholders, were trying to sell. At its highest, Bear Stearns stock was, if I'm not wrong, it was like 171 or something. JP Morgan was able to acquire them for $2. $2 a share.
Yeah, but then the government stepped in and made them pay 10.
10.
Yeah.
Made them pay 10. Forced them to pay 10 because there was a lot of other shit. But then the government also gave them about $1 billion. Gave JP Morgan about $1 billion to complete the deal as well. So
Jimmy,
So what did they buy?
the CEO of Bear Stearns, when all this was happening, was playing golf. He was a world-class bridge player. He and Ace Greenberg traveled the world playing bridge, and he played golf. And Jimmy Cain's his name, and he was worth $1,240,000,000 on a Friday, and he was worth 5 cents on the or 3 cents on the dollar on the Tuesday.
A week later.
Yeah, and but a lot of people got buried, literally, and partners that kept their money in the partnership account, that may have 30, 40, 50, 80, 100 million bucks a capital, wound up with $1 million and $2 million. And some that had leveraged that, they got wiped out and they had to come up with money.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got it wrong. So actually, the Fed gave J.P. Morgan $30 billion in order to acquire and to do all the reorganizing, all that.
And
all the
why
messy
did they
shit.
buy this thing?
To grow. Well, they already put down $1 billion in order to try and save, for Bear Stearns to save itself via an LLC called Maiden Lane LLC. But then eventually when they made the decision to buy, it was capped at about 2.2, so they only really needed to put down another 1.2 billion because they already put down $1 billion, right? Basically, and then eventually when if they bought them at $2 a share, they would have only bought them for 236 million. Fed made them pay way more. So then 2.2 billion. Was the price they actually paid, and then a whole bunch of other money just to reorganize, restructure,
And if you
which
remember,
ended up being a real shit show. So actually, the CEO,
Did it work for him?
the pun,
Did it work for J.P. Morgan?
the CEO regrets it. The CEO regrets the decision. He would have done what Warren Buffett did to Lehman Brothers and just let them die.
yeah. But I mean, there was a lot of pressure being put on by the administration to not let these companies go down. Whereas by the time they got to Lehman, nobody wanted it, and Warren, who was called in the 11th hour or something like that, he said, "No, I don't want it either."
But Warren, he wouldn't have done it anyway, but he missed out because he wasn't taking calls at the time. He was just sitting back, relaxing. By the time he realized Lehman was calling, it was already too late.
What would have happened if they had let them fail?
Oh well, I was one of the few proponents that I let the banking system go down.
Yeah. It should have gone down. That would have.
It would
fixed everything.
The U.S. National debt, everything would have shifted, but there would have been a legacy for the Bush administration and the beginning of the Obama administration.
Oh, it would have been shit.
They just let it go down.
Okay.
But the next time around, in the big down leg that I keep telling you about, they're going to let every fucking thing go down.
Okay.
At some point,
And you know how your little pennies in your 401k and your pension plan are all gone.
Yeah.
And now they insure accounts in banks up to $250,000 by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corp, right?
Yep.
Is it 250?
I don't remember. I didn't.
Okay,
It's
well,
like 250.
but if you got $40 million in the bank and they give you 250, so fucking what? Keep the 250. Don't insult me.
Okay.
So that's the thing, though. So because the government, because there's so much government intervention, right?
Spread it in 3 currencies.
That's why the climb back was kind of fucked up. Because if they had let everything go down, a lot of Americans, so many Americans would have suffered. Probably suicide rates would have tripled, quadrupled. But from chaos comes opportunity. So the ones that kill themselves off, survival of the fittest. The ones that would have saw this as a real great golden opportunity, QLA would have fucking thrived in this situation. QLA would have absolutely thrived in this situation, which is why I also want to investigate this case. First of all, because this case is at such a high level that I'm not even close to, making a case at this level now, but closing a deal of this kind now. But eventually I would love to, soon as possible.
Isn't it interesting?
But also it shows how from chaos there is opportunity. And that's why I really wanted to show.
From chaos comes order. But remember the hurricanes that came through the southern United States, and I had QLA mentees going around buying with quick claim deeds. Your house, $200, $300, $400. They have like $100,000 in cash in a suitcase, and they buy up a whole city block or 2 whole city blocks. When they were under 8 feet of water, well, those properties unfortunately are still under 4 feet of water, so they're still not worth shit. So they thought they were stealing them from the landowners, but really the landowners
Got the deal.
you know, at least they got $500.
Yeah.
But when those levees broke, and there's still lawsuits about who was responsible for the levees, and that'll go on forever and ever and ever. It's a litigator's dream.
Houston's still got a lot of issues over the last hurricane. I can't remember what it's called, Harvey or I don't remember.
Yeah, but people still move to Florida. And I was born there, okay? People still move to Florida knowing there's a 1 in 6 chance, if you're on the water, there's a 1 in 6 chance your house is going to go away. Those odds are too high for me. I mean, 1 in 60, 1 in 600. Of course, when it happens to you, it's 100%. But I mean, but they still. And if the best case scenario about global warming, which you know I don't believe in, the water is going to go up 10 feet, 3 meters. That's the best case scenario in the next 30 to 50 years. The worst case scenario, it's going to go up 100 feet. Well, at 100 feet, most of the world as we know it today is gone. At 10 feet, Manhattan, the East Coast, Florida, most of Mexico, South America, Central America, the Netherlands, most of Europe is gone at 10 feet. And now, if that were true, and let's say that you bought, everything's on the water. I mean, I heard a third of Australia disappears.
There'd be nothing left.
Then there'd be in the center.
Because
there'd be Adelaide. There'd be Adelaide.
You've got desert.
Yeah, and but if that happens, when you build a house in Miami or you build a apartment building in Miami, there should be a disclaimer in the selling document.
But there isn't.
But there aren't any. No. So I mentioned that in 2017 when I got in that altercation with that woman. But then
I have 2 sons.
6 months later, the first lawsuit, Exxon sued the city of Galveston for allowing them to build not a refinery, but some kind of plant where they were only 10 feet above water. So the next wave of big class action suits, if that's true and the water goes up 10 feet in the next 30 years, there's going to be lawyers that just specialize. Marine legalities will take on a new meaning.